cannot be able to grow with a fixed mindset. You'll see opportunities and you'll let them pass, and your life will just be stunted forever because you won't be knowing how to transform them into tangible things. So let's look at this person with a growth mindset. These people are more resilient and overcome more challenging situations. Why are they resilient? They believe that whatever failure that is happening in their life is just a process. It's there like to equip them. They learn from all failures and they just keep pressing harder to a goal that they've set. And these are good people to be towards because they have a positive outlook on life. They're going to see something, and instead of looking at the negative, they're going to be like, okay, how are we going to use this negative to transform it into a positive? You're going to need this with your goals because life is not a straight line thing. It's not that if you've set a goal to be a billionaire in 5 years' time, money is going to be falling into your bank account monthly. It doesn't work like that. It means you're going to have to look for opportunities. You're going to have to look for ways of making money, meet people of a certain caliber. And if you're not resilient, you're going to give up at the very first instance of opportunity to give up that you find. People of a growth mindset prioritize learning over failure. Like I said, failure is part of success, and successful people fail many more times than unsuccessful people. How do they fail more times? Every failure point that they get is part of that journey. It's part of their learning, and that's what propels them to the kind of success that they have. Then growth mindset people prefer growth over stagnation. This is those people that you find comfortable. You're kind of comfortable with whatever you have already and you feel nothing can get any better. We saw that in the earlier bullet of why people don't set goals. So you become comfortable in life. Well, nothing is wrong, but if I want something better, it will take a lot of work and it will take a lot of time, and so you become stunted. That is the fixed mindset, and like I said, it kills. So people with that growth mindset also believe that there is always a phase. They are always in a phase of transformation. So whatever failures that may come their way, they just use those as a stepping stone, and then they just realize so many ways that have not worked, and then they just keep moving. Like I said, I just relate this a lot with business people. If you've created businesses and if you've tried many strategies, you are far better than someone who has never created a business, because you know things that work, you know things that don't work, you know how to twitch around things to bring out the best outcome. So if you look at your friends who have seen you create businesses and then they're failing, they might laugh at you, but this person has failed at this. Remember when she tried this and it failed? Well, you are far better than such people. You have more failures on your CV, yes, but those failures are success. If you look at it the other way, is the glass half full or half empty? That kind of perspective. So it's just a matter of saying, well, if you're creating a business and you do this, this does not work. If you do this, that doesn't work. You only get that kind of information, that kind of knowledge and experience if you've been able to try out so many different things and you've been able to see what works and what doesn't work. And that is a growth mindset. And you're going to need it a lot when you're creating goals, because you're going to want to move from one step to another. And then these people with a growth mindset don't attach their identity to the results, but focus on the process of growing and learning. Yes, you failed a certain exam, you failed that, what can I call it? Business. I relate so much with business because I've created so many businesses and I've failed at so many businesses. So I know what failure is, but it's such an enjoyable experience. To fail, it hurts, but it's good knowing what doesn't work. So if you're a person with a growth mindset, you look at things that you failed at, and you realize that no, you're not a failure. This doesn't define you, but it's just a process of growing. There is more information that you get when you fail than if you've not tried to do anything. So as you're setting your goals, you're supposed to remember there are two mindsets that you should have. It's a growth mindset. This always works in your favor, and it always finds ways of creating, of seeing the silver lining in the dark cloud. A fixed mindset kills. Remember that always. And then I'm moving on to making a smoothie. Well, this is our goal setting process. And here we've got the whole background of mindset. Mindset is such a very huge topic, and it's so hard to break a mindset, and it's so hard to move from a negative mindset, a fixed mindset. Sometimes you need help. You need counselors, you need psychologists to help you. So there's a lot of help on the internet. I'll be able to provide some resources at the end. And yes, mindset can change. Like I said, you cannot pray for someone to have a change in mindset. It has to be themselves to push themselves towards that change. So we're moving on to making a smoothie. So I call this, and a smoothie, I'm calling it the goal setting process, because when you're making a smoothie, well, recently, and we have a beautiful image of a smoothie here. So I was trying to make a smoothie, and I put kale and strawberries and Greek yogurt and so many other things in my smoothie. And my friend was like, man, you're not supposed to put all those things. Like, you could have made 3 different versions of a smoothie, and then you've just put everything into one. That's wasted. Anyway, so if you don't know the process, you won't be able to get the outcome that you want. Like I said, smoothies don't come naturally as smoothies. They go through a process of getting inputs, which are the fruits, and then the yogurt and whatever other people use, and they come up with this very delicious drink. So in our goal setting process, like we have 2 mindsets. Here we have 2 walls. And the guy I like about in personal growth, I mentioned this guy, is called Brian Tracy. This is, I'll leave, I think I have a link in these resources. I'll be able to share everything here with you guys at the end. But Brian Tracy is such a good person when it comes to personal growth with goals. He's such an incredible guy, and he helped me a lot to get me started on my personal growth journey. And then in goal setting, I've learned a lot from him. So he gives this illustration of 2 wolves. So we have like 2 wolves on our shoulders. We have a wolf on our right shoulder, and then on our left shoulder. And then these are wolves of success and failure. And whichever wolf you feed, the more that determines your end. Like if you feed failure, the more weight it's going to grow up, it's going to get big, and it will go like it's going to eat you up. But then if you feed the wolf of success, it's going to get big, and then it's going to help you achieve so many greater things. So this is what happens in goal setting. You have these wolves, and then everything that you do on a daily, you're feeding a wolf. The wolf of success is going to help you achieve your goals. The wolf of failure is going to help you get further and further away from your goals, and it will kill you. So let's look at the wolf of failure. How does it work? So these are like factors in goal setting. So the wolf of failure has a factor of comfort. As human beings, we are made to succeed. Like I told you, our brains are made to achieve something. If you don't tell your brain what to achieve, it will definitely make up something, and it will achieve that thing that it has made up. So like we've been made to succeed, our default always falls to failure. It's hard to believe, but yes, our default is always failure. So our default is failure, and it is up to us to propel ourselves out of the failure setting. How does the failure setting work? Failure likes comfort. When you're, and comfort is such an enemy of success. Like, you get comfortable in the way of life, you have that fixed mindset that I told you about. You know that, like, you've made it up in your mind that it's only people of this kind of life, it's only rich people who can do some kinds of things. It's only people from a certain background who can be able to do something. It's only people with this level of IQ that are able to achieve certain things. And then you get comfortable with that, and then you fill your mind with all those kinds of restrictions. You're feeding the wolf of failure. Remember, the more you feed it, it's going to grow, it's going to get big, it's going to eat you up. So how do you move from that? You start realizing that being in an uncomfortable situation helps you. We realize this with us who have weight losing goals, like we want to chop weight. But then just lying down and then not having to walk and then just eating the whole time is so comfortable. Like, it's the best comfort I've ever seen. And then just putting on your shoes, going for a run, going to the gym, or letting go of some things in your diet, like taking off sausages, is already hard. And I'm saying this in a personal kind of perspective. It's really hard letting go of some things because it's so comfortable, and then it's so hard to move to the uncomfortable side. But then if I realize that, well, I'm just feeding my wolf of failure. If I don't exercise, if I move certain kind of life, I'm going to just create problems for myself. I'm going to get overweight. I'm going to reach a point and I can't move, and then my whole hospital bed is just going to keep piling up, all because I was interested in comfort instead of having feeding my success wolf, which always works for me and not against me. And then on the failure side, we also have this factor of learned helplessness. I'm a, like, what do they say? I testify on this, like, our brains, when I was doing my research, I was saying brain is plastic. It's able to learn and unlearn things. So when you look at a child, when we're still babies, we're not scared of so many things. If you have a baby and then you throw them like from a 12-story building, they'll not even flinch. They'll just keep sleeping or licking their finger or whatever. But then the more we grow up, then we start getting these things of fear. We start getting realizing failure, and then it gets so rooted in our brains, and then it's only up to a point when you're like, okay, this is not the mindset I was born with, I can unlearn this. Then that is when you're able to move from there. So learned helplessness is those things that we put in our brains of, well, I don't have the money to do that, I don't really have the time to exercise, I don't have the time to take that course, I don't have that kind of people that I need to help me with this project. That is all learned helplessness. The moment you keep telling your brain, the moment you keep giving your brain these reasons, it will take it as the default and it will keep executing that. Like I told, the brain receives commands from us. So the more you keep telling it, well, we don't have the resources, it will be like, oh yeah, master say we don't have resources, so don't execute. It's going to get comfortable. It's not going to start giving you options of we're supposed to do this. But then if you tell it otherwise, it will start prompting you to look for alternatives, look for the people who are supposed to help you, look for the money, look for the time, try to create time for you to work on whatever you have wanted to pass. And then on the wolf of failure, we also have a path of least resistance. All these things lead to failure. Path of least resistance is we want things that are easy, things that are easy to do, things that are like shortcuts. And who doesn't want a shortcut? So many shortcuts are not good. I don't know if you've if you risk a lot, you'll know that shortcuts are not good, especially in investing. I was saying investing. I've been conned a number of times, all in the name of, someone can make 50% profits on something, then let me put my money there. And they invest for me. And then in the end, it results into a zero gain, like they've run away with your principal and you've not been able to make money out of it. So the moment you realize that shortcuts are not always the best path to take, then you realize that you've been feeding a wolf of failure. Sometimes, like with goals, let me give this example of how someone might be like, I'm going to give like things still that are familiar with me. If I want to chop 50 kgs might be a lot. If I want to chop 20 kilograms, and then maybe I get consultant, personal trainer, and I'm telling them I want to chop 20 kilograms, and they're like, well, that is going to take you 12 months. And then I'm like, 12 months are so many. I wanted to take some kind of tea that magically melts this weight and I lose it in 2 months. So realize that these 2-month things usually have side effects. I don't know if you've researched about those weight things, like people who want to lose weight, but I have. And no, it's not always rosy. They're on the market, but then this 12-month thing, this habit thing that you're supposed to create yourself, like to move yourself from the comfort zone to get moving, this has more success and it has less side effects in the long run. So time is going to pass, whether you like it or not. If you've set a goal and you realize it's going to take you 12 months to achieve, whether you work on that goal or whether you don't work on that goal, the 12 months are going to pass. So if you realize that time is going to pass anyway, you can as well start working on your goals, because whether you work on them or not, time will always pass. So shortcuts, you're feeding failure most of the time. That doesn't mean that if you've set a goal and an opportunity presents itself, like I told you, my favorite word this year and next year will be serendipity, that luck. You will not be able to realize some luck moments unless you've made intentional goals to achieve. Many of us have rubbed shoulders with people we didn't even know we needed in life. Imagine you rub a shoulder with, which guy do I want to meet? I want to meet some guy called Comrade Otoa. He's some Twitter chap. And yeah, I need him for something. So if I don't have any goal, I can find that guy on a street somewhere. I can find him at an airport and I'll just look at him and be like, yeah, I know that guy. And then I won't be able to pinch my idea to him. But imagine I have a goal set and I'm like, one day I want to meet this guy and I want to do this and this. The moment an opportunity presents itself and I look at that guy, I'll just run to him and then I'll present my case, and whatever will happen later, I don't know. So yeah, you have to set yourself in a way that you're working, you're feeding the success wolf. The only way you can be able to feed this wolf is when you set goals. When you tell your brain that this is what we're going to be doing, it activates something. I don't know. I don't even know what this thing is called that gets activated. I didn't research about it, but it happened to me, and yes, it happened to some other people. The moment you set clear things that this is what I want to do, this is what I want to do, there's a way these things die off, because, well, if I've said I want to lose, I didn't, okay, I'm mentioning a lot of weight because I want to lose weight. Let me say I wanted to do it, to get 100 millions in 1 year. Like, it's so uncomfortable to do some kinds of businesses, and business is really not easy. But then, yes, I said I want 100 million. So my brain is going to be like, well, you're in bed or you're doing this, but then you would have done the other thing. It will only prompt that if I've told it we have this goal to achieve. If I've not told my brain that we have 100 millions to achieve, if you receive a random gift, actually, let me give that example. If you've said you want 500,000 in your account in 1 month time, and then you had said you're going to be saving 200 K a month, and then by end of 3 months you'll be having that 500K, and then someone randomly walks to you and they give you 300K, do you know what your brain will say? Your brain will be like, wow, you already have 300K unplanned for money that you received. You can put this on this goal that you set, and then you'll be able to do that. But guess what? If you didn't have that set, you'll just find ways of spending this 500K in weird things that won't work for you.